Limba, Chicken Shamim, Mokgethwa, Kim, a whole bunch of other AKAs. The Sobering Podcast, Season 5, Episode 8.
I think you're correct.
I'm bound to be.
It's Big Fred, aka Young Takalani Sesame. Shout out to Moshe.
No.
No. I'm too old to even know the reference. Too old to know the reference. Kitso.
No.
Oh snap, man! Oh man! What a dope time, man! I know, man, and we've got like a very special guest, an enigma of sorts, a visual enigma. Currently, a bandit, a hooligan,
A hooligan.
a born hooligan,
Born hooligan, not just a hooligan, a born hooligan.
a design extraordinaire,
Don't forget, super fan of the Sobering Podcast.
a super fan of the Sobering Podcast. It's a lit time, man.
Blessed to be here. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
know?
guys. You know,
Brother Dale, how are you, bro?
been good. Been well. And you? How are you?
You know, we okay. You
Staying
know?
out of trouble.
Trying
being healthy.
to,
You know.
trying to because we actually tried to stay out of trouble.
Yeah.
We are.
We tried to.
We
tried to. Got into some hot water, man.
No, let's hear it.
You know.
Yeah.
But we out of the hot water thanks to you.
Thank you.
I'm not, yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I know.
Man.
Yeah, man. I think we've settled into our waters.
Yeah. I mean, it's not even lukewarm anymore. It just, you can swim around now.
Yeah, we needed to chill. A bit,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let the waves subside a little bit.
Things are becoming a bit uncouth.
Yeah.
Uncouth.
You guys gonna explain what you're talking about?
Let's hear the backstory first.
Backstory. We did a podcast. Two in particular that instigated
Podcast episodes,
podcast episodes that instigated an inquiry into the music business and how cutthroat it is.
Oh, nice. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. Well,
not good. Oh, no. Okay, no.
It is good it is very good. It's actually very good.
Yeah.
For people who are coming into the industry and some people on the other side of the industry.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the people in power.
Oh, they don't like that, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But yo,
Yeah, did you raffle? What's it? Raffle
Ruffle
some
some
feathers? Yeah.
feathers.
Big
got
Did you get the
ruffles.
carte
Yeah,
blanche
big
music
feathers.
in the background going, knocking a couple doors, you know?
very carte blanche.
Derek Watt would be proud of you, gentlemen. You know?
Oh man. Yeah.
Shout out to Clemawis.
Yeah. I'm with you. Shout out
I
to
can
Clem,
second that one. Shout out to Clema Wisa. But yo,
I'm fitting it.
it's the Sobering, the shout out podcast, you know?
Yeah.
And I think as a super fan, you'll be familiar with us just delving into what's going on in the local hip hop scene and just the events that we went through. And yeah, man, that's it. And then we definitely have a deep dive into the mind of Dale.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, man. Did you get up to anything?
Yeah, I got vaccinated.
Big facts.
How you feeling?
I'm cool now. Like,
What do you mean now?
when I got the shot
after?
on Monday, my hand was like mad painful.
Did you try and put a magnet where you got vexed?
Yeah, man. This one guy in the office kept doing that. Like,
It didn't work.
It didn't work.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you got the right one then. You
What's
got
the
right
story
one.
behind that?
No, it's the older microchips. I got the
They're
newer
following him
microchips.
down wherever he goes. Especially if you got the Pfizer one. Do you get the Pfizer
I
one?
got the Pfizer
I'm hearing
too.
beeping a lot coming
No.
in.
Hey, man.
Yeah. He is safe, no worries. He's behaving.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, man. But yeah, it was cool. No minor side effects. I'll see after the second shot.
What do you mean minor? Like what?
I just felt a bit tired because now I think do they ingest COVID into my system or whatever?
Something
Sort
like
of, yeah.
Sort of,
a
yeah.
mild
So
version.
I had like sort of those symptoms just a bit, but now I was tired. man.
So can you pass those things on while you...
What? No. This is
You're not contagious at all.
no, it's a
Yeah.
one-man COVID.
Oh.
Yeah.
One man COVID.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
think
not
that's true.
contagious.
The jab isn't pleasant though. It's not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, no, it's not.
Did you get it done as
Yeah, I
well?
got jabbed also.
Eesh.
I got the Johnson & Johnson one, the single shot.
Yeah.
24 hours after I got the shot, I was man down. Literally every symptom you can think of, just everything hit me for 4 hours. I thought, this is it. No, not diarrhea. No. None of the excrements and fecal matter problems. I had like temperature of 39.2. So I thought that was it. I was going to boil out. Just thought my body was going to shut down.
And breathing?
Breathing was good.
Okay.
It was okay. I couldn't lift my head off the pillow and I couldn't lift my legs. My legs felt like lead. Like I was stuck in this motion. But you're shivering, but boiling, but shivering. It's like, well, this is the way to go, you know? You got the jab. They fooled everybody. Now, but 4 hours later, perfect. Literally, like even better than the day before. It's amazing.
Nice.
Hectic.
Yeah, I couldn't get anything like that. Just like, I was just a bit woozy. Just a bit. Because I got it and then went to work. And then I was in a meeting. It's like, it's hot in here, guys.
So clearly you got it.
Yo, it's hot. I can't. And then, second day minor. And then now we're here, you know?
Yo, Vax boys,
This
man.
is
That's the Vax corner.
It is the Vax corner.
It's the antibody.
This is the road to getting
good.
Antibody boys.
Yeah, man.
Antibody boys.
if you
But
come- if you
I'm trying to get vaxxed as well,
Get
man.
vax. Let's get back into the festivals and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
I registered
That's
to get
important,
vaxxed.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, you said,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
said. We
You'll observe.
we respect it.
I'll observe from afar.
We respect it, man. But I'm
You're not
trying
going to get the vax. Not going to get the shot.
until further notice.
Until further notice,
Yeah.
I'm just waiting. That's why I'm inquiring with people like who've got vexed. Yeah, I'm like,
But
yo, what did
why?
you go through?
Why are you? Is it maybe because the vaccinations that you,
You
had
know what?
before was not your
Yeah,
choice?
I've only got like in my adult life, I've only got vaccinated once for flu, and that was the worst flu I've ever had.
Damn.
But the second time, you'll be much better. And then the third, you got to go once a year now. That's the
yeah,
problem,
you have to. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying. Like after that first time, I was like, no ways. I'm not.
This
This
ain't
is. I'll take my chances.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, COVID officials cut the check. You see the vibes.
Willem Kize.
Health department.
Yeah. We
Shout
are
out to the health department.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're doing good work anyway. Being jabbed or not.
Yeah.
Kudos to you.
Oh, snap. Oh, man. Oh, also have to inform you that this episode is brought to you by the good folks of KIWI.
Yeah.
You know, keeping your shoes fresh for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Suede, nubuck, cloth, whatever it is, they got you, man. You know.
So you can wear your pride.
That's what.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Just people. I'm not
My watch is always beeping. It's not my microchip.
We were joking and now you're beeping.
The beeping is happening.
No, it's actually happening.
Look, whoa, let's not back on the joke. No more joking.
Did I scare you there?
Did you hear that Benny events?
That's funny.
Okay, Wednesday I'm always checking and meet the C team. That's why I saw Smanga. Shout out to Smanga, man. Shout out to the shy homie. I don't know why, because I always see them at third place and I'm like, they're just the homies. I know them as DJs, but they make like really good music. And I felt so bad, man.
Why did you feel bad?
Because it's like, I know these guys, man. Like, these are my guys. I'm just like, guys, how could I have slept on this?
Now you're not sleeping.
Now,
man.
No, I'm not.
now you're
man.
waking
Like,
everyone up to it.
yeah, man.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
Smanga, and yeah.
I always say rather late than pregnant. So.
And the whole of Admit Records, TP and them Draper, Skis, yo. Draper, everybody. Just a nice time, but I left a bit earlier than usual. And then Thursday, what did I do? Thursday was wild.
Wow.
Damn it. Thursday, work drinks up in the bite one.
So that's the wild part.
No. It's just the beginning. So, and then after that, what did I do? We went to Royale. Are you just chilling? Royale. Checked out a new spot. Wildside. It's very cozy, what, but there was no music there. And then I went to what used to be Workshop 55. It's now called Bold. Parktown North. IQ and them had a thing there, Strictly Soul. That was a jump. That was a nice time. We did our thing out there. And then, we just DJs and then third place.
Your resident
Yeah, and
spot.
Then, we did third place. And then, left that place at like 2.
2 a.m.
Yeah.
Friday morning.
Yeah.
You living that life, though.
This
You might be the
guy's-
rock
this
star.
guy's-
You're
Yeah.
definitely the
Good
rock
to be
star of the
young,
group.
Yeah. No, that's
no
the
responsibilities. It's good.
None
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
good.
thing. Yeah, I know, eh?
This man living
It's
well.
good to be young at heart, but I guess young at heart is also like, it's not even physical. But your body shows you the next day that you're chill out. You can
You're not the man that you used to
Yeah.
be, man.
Drink
Chill out.
responsibly.
You're not the young
man
dude that you used to
I'm
be,
not.
bro.
But I can still go, man. I can't pull an all-nighter anymore, but I can still go.
Now you know why he's the only one with sunglasses on.
Yeah.
No, Dale
I
took
was
his
wearing
off.
them, but
Yeah.
I put them on for something.
No, this is for
Yeah.
Clue. Shout out to Clue. After the chat I had with him,
Yeah,
shout out to Clue.
yeah.
The shades are for you.
I'll put him on speaker, just to give him some direct feedback,
That he must put shades on.
Yeah,
No.
he said I must put shades on the show. He likes it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out
There
to
you
Clue.
Thanks to Wardrobe. No, there you
Yeah,
go.
you
Cool.
know.
Good job.
And shout out to Clue, man. Clue got a joint out with TTP. Dope one.
Yeah, that's my joint. I love that joint.
I did a few things, man. I went to Party Time's listening session for his joint. Yeah, with Yanga and Low Key.
Where was it?
It was.
Somewhere in town.
It was in town, man. Go Elof.
Oh.
By Pyramid there.
Yeah.
Deep in town there. Really beautiful song, man. Master A Flat also there. Dope guy. Some dope conversations. And then they pulled me through to Blackie's listening session.
Blackie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Crazy. Cause it was like at
Super spreader.
Super spread.
There's no more super spreaders.
It was at Drama
Was
and
at Drama.
in Bram, which is basic. It's a club, right?
It's a club.
Yeah, it's a club. I mean,
That thing looked like a super spreader, bro.
That thing, man, it was lit,
everything
bro.
else is a super spreader. We're not supposed to be going out. So what?
I'm
is a
not
super
going out.
spreader and what's not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mokgethwa,
Yeah.
Okay.
for the discipline there, bro.
Yeah.
It's other things are spreaders. That one is a super spreader.
Okay, other things. I'm not gonna call it a super spreader. I'm gonna call it a listening session.
No.
You know what I mean?
it was a listening
For
session.
the listening session.
Just
That
because
was
you go
well
to super
attended.
spreaders, it doesn't normalize super spreaders.
we're not normalizing super spreaders.
We're
We're just
not.
calling events for what they are. What they advertise
Yeah.
as. My word.
There's no
calling them what they
ventilation
were
there. There's no
pre-COVID.
ventilation there. Super spreader. Go ahead.
There's ventilation. Kitso.
Look, it was packed. It was dope. I thought it was like, yo, how are we gonna listen to an album at the club? But he did. It was cool, man. He played the whole album, and snippets for some tracks. But like, it was fine. I mean, the album is out now. Everybody has heard it, and it's big fire. It was just also dope to see him and Lucas there. You know what I mean? And and when he was playing Big Time Slapper, they were literally at opposite ends
rapping
of the club. You know what I mean?
yeah.
And rapping it
I saw
back
it on
and
the
forth,
stories
back and
there.
forth. It was a beautiful moment. But shout out.
with the effect code 5.
Yeah, he pulled up with looking like Moshe as well
Yeah.
from Tagalani system.
Yeah.
Shout out to Moshe. You know the vibes, bro.
Which is the big yellow one. The big yellow one.
He was the Blackie Moshe, but really dope. It's a good album. If you have time, Dale, have a listen to it, man.
Yeah.
Really dope. Sega is like my joint. David was my joint when it came out
David.
before the when it was just the pre-order.
Yeah.
David, beautiful.
Yeah. I won't
Bumped into Pretty Ugly. His album is about to drop, and we were fortunate enough to
get the pre.
Get the
early drop. We had to listen to
early
it.
link.
It was man.
It's about to
It's
get
your
interesting.
It's your rap there.
Yeah.
I like Pretty. Pretty's good. Boys enjoy
Yeah.
his stuff.
He's man, high quality guy. That's
Yeah.
what I call him, man. Really dope stuff. And yeah, man, just new music that I listen to. There's this dude called Miles. Dropped a project called We've Been Good. I think it's called We Gonna Be Good or We've Been Good.
I haven't bumped it. I saw it on your stories.
Ooh, so good,
I haven't
bro.
bumped it. I won't lie.
Super good. Like how I got onto it is Tato Soul put it on his stories.
Yeah.
And then I checked it out and it was like super crazy, super dope. And obviously the 2-player Mokgethwa Dope Boy League.
You.
Beautiful project based on like game culture. as
I won't
well.
lie. I had to go look up some game culture things because he goes deep.
He went
I was
proper
like-
into it.
I was like,
know,
this line sounds dope, but I'm not
King
getting
of
it.
Fighters, Street Fighter, a lot of combat game references. You know what I mean? King of
I mean, the ones
Fighters,
that you'd get at the
the arcade,
tuck shop,
yeah.
Yeah.
King
The
of
old school
Fighters,
ones, yeah.
Street
Yeah.
Fighter, Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat.
Tekken.
A lot of those references, a lot of those characters, a lot of the sound design is sort of based on that, and the
Yeah.
ad libs. He leaked it himself,
Yeah.
so that the people that don't really
Yeah.
have access to streaming platforms can still listen to it. You know what I mean? Which is his fan base. So that was also quite honorable
Yeah.
From
And
my
I guess
standpoint, yeah.
with you saying it now, just to ring up Kitso's question, like,
I didn't ask a question.
not a question, a statement. No, not here. About why did he do that? Because Fagaza was gonna do it anyway.
Yeah, does that sound dumb though? Like
It's not dumb, but Fagaza does. That's a forceful one. You know what I mean?
it's gonna happen.
No, man, it's a forceful one. It's a forceful one. You know, you can rely on Fagaza to give you the early drop, but you want to control the narrative as well. You know, and it's all about controlling the narrative. Man.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out to Larry.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What's that one?
Joystick control.
Control the narrative. You gotta control the narrative, man. So yo, shout out to Matlera.
We're all going on
Which is the emoji that he used to promote.
That's the
it,
emoji.
like,
That's why I went that way.
yeah, you know.
Yeah, nice.
So which is really dope. But yeah, man, that was me. Papa K.
I didn't do nothing. I don't lie.
At all.
Staying home. No super spreaders.
Playing a bit of tennis though.
You know, just, you know.
Yeah.
Love means nothing.
Okay. Damn.
Type thing.
Okay, how was your tennis game then?
Yo. By the way, listen to Tlu's song as P-Day.
Shout out to Tlu, man.
Yeah, man. Big shout out.
All
to
right,
Tlu.
done with the news.
Yeah.
Let's get into
Get into it. Deep dive. Let's say the meat and potatoes. Yeah.
The way you said it, that's fine. Gotta pause that, man.
Oh man. Like, where do we start with there? Like, I mean, like, you're such a like right now, you're everywhere in terms of your brainchild, sort of, which is like your designs and the work that you do for Jonathan D. You know, just
your designs and styling.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You know, and it's beautiful. You know what I mean? It's stuff that like you've basically.
But even before that, when you had your position at Fila,
Oh, yeah.
that was like
that was also
that
crazy.
was-
You know.
yeah.
But you know, Jonathan D is like another level
African
because it's like
heritage,
it's
man.
Heritage,
Yeah.
yeah. That was the
South
interesting part about
African
joining them. That was
heritage,
the
yeah.
important part, you know.
Yeah.
Being able to tell the story correctly or rebrand or retell the story.
Yeah.
Just update it.
Mm.
Make it a little bit more, say, youthful and prettier.
Yeah.
So was that the assignment, man?
Well, yes, in a nutshell, yeah. So the assignment was just to bring it back up to where it was in its heyday. I didn't know much of its history, but what I was told is that it was like one of the first real South African menswear brands. Back in the 70s, there weren't much competition. There wasn't much competition locally, but you just offered international brands, and we had a small amount. So the guys started it, wanted to be local, but also be high fashion. And I think what happened was, through the years, the brand grew with the customer and didn't grow its customer, if that makes sense. So when they started out with 25-year-olds, and when they grew to 30, they designed for 30, and then they designed for 35-year-olds, etc., etc. And it got to the point where, sadly, the customers were dying because they were at the age of death, whatever that is. You know, rest
They
in,
were old.
you know.
Yeah.
They just got old, and the designs got old with the old men. But so the bosses saw what I was doing, liked where we were going with taking a heritage brand as in Fila, what we did, and how we made it more youthful again, also telling a whole new story of it. And they said, well, you're local, you love telling the local narrative, because that's what I wanted to do with Fila. I wanted to sell a local Fila narrative, not an international narrative. We wanted to make it more local because there was a heritage with Fila also. They said, come do it for local brand. I was like, yeah, that sounds way more exciting because, you know, I love local brands and always wanted to do something that tells our story correctly. That was the assignment, yeah. That was the assignment, yeah.
That's dope, man.
And you guys are killing it now. Yo.
Look, we're starting. It's a good start.
There's more.
Well, yeah. Well, when we said we wanted to do it was a 3-year project initially to change everything. It was like we were expecting in a realistic terms that we had 3 years to re-educate the customer base and say, this is where we're going, and then come with us for the ride after 3 years. But it took about 6 to 7 months, so it's a lot more faster than we thought. So we had to change a few things, which was exciting to know. You know, now we can spearhead and speed up the process, which has also allowed us to get more creative, do a lot more things, and push the boundaries more. So, yeah, it's just the start, really.
Do you know what I think sped it up?
What?
These joints.
Yeah, the pennies, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, because when these joints came
Oh,
out,
yeah, dude.
Those joints, but also your social media engagement.
Yeah.
More than anything, you know, because you
also-
could put these out and we wouldn't know.
Yeah.
But like the way you guys hit social media.
Even the seating was proper.
Yeah.
Everything.
So that was the I always looked at social media instead of being an arrogant brand or like we too cool to communicate or speak or open dialogues. We're like, it's a perfect time to have open dialogue and a perfect platform to have a dialogue. So let's just open it up to everybody, whoever you are. Just if you want to ask a question, ask a question. If you want to tag us, tag us. If you want us to post stuff, let us post us. Whatever, you know. Use us as a platform to also spearhead your creativity, which is, I think, what everyone's seeing. It's like a lot of guys are starting to do their own shoots and start dwelling into their own creativity. And we're like, that's amazing. Great, can we post it? He has a budget for your next shoot if you want to do a next shoot for us, because we don't really want to control everyone's creativity. And I think that's the problem with most brands. Like, well, this is our brand. You must do it our way. Let us use the best of the best and use this and that. Be like, cool, this is actually just everyone's brand. Be a local brand, be everyone's brand. If you want to do a shoot, mail us. If it fits into the story, great. If it can't, let's try fit it into the story, because obviously not everything is going to work because we still have to tell our story. But that's how we kept the social going, really. And that was, for us as a consumer myself and someone that also loves the world of social media, it's nothing more annoying when you message somebody or a brand to give a kudos or say, that's amazing, and they just read it and don't reply. It's like, what's the point? We keeping you alive, you know. We actually we fueling you. We keep on giving you the chance to do it. So why must you ignore us? So that was the rule. That's my rule, personal rule for social media. If someone messages, don't be too cool to blue tick them or ignore them. Just say, hey, you know.
See, that's
putting the power back into the creatives.
It is,
literally what you're doing.
I didn't even know about that part.
So that's always been important. You know, I want us to look as a stepping platform for a creative. Like, you know, there's so much good creativity and so many good creatives that don't have a platform or an opportunity. Most brands always go to a certain amount of creatives, or like, let's go to this agency or let's do this model agency, etc. We're like, why? It's such a big place to look for everywhere. We're not going to know everybody, and not every agent or model knows or going to be seen. So let's just look around, you know? Submit. Who knows? Maybe you're the next big thing and you can use us as your platform, you know?
Yo, man, you heard it, man. Submit.
Come on.
We love conversations,
Pass them conversations, man.
Yeah.
So just want to take it back then in terms of you as a designer and as a person of style, you know, and where you started. I think a lot of me, Kitso, I'm sure Mokgethwa as well, like how we got onto you was your brand Swede Crowe, you know, back in the Brom days. So just take us back into your evolution.
Early Brom days.
Still Brom days. Early Brom days. This is what, 2012? 2012, round about there.
Sheesh, that's 9 years, bro.
Yeah, 2012.
Just before we go into Swede Crowe, like, I loved the caps, like the 5 panels. But they were just always too small for my hand.
I got the 5 panels. That's actually how I got to meet Dale. I posted a picture with the.
I remember that actually. It was what TV show? It was on your TV show.
It was on a TV show, a battle station.
Early social media days.
Dale was always on the cusp of social media.
And that was on Tumblr even. So you posted it on Tumblr, and because you had the Swede Crowe Tumblr as well, and then that's how I connected with you there.
So the world of social media. Actually, a funny story. My first band, early days, I think it was like 2005, maybe. Don't quote me on the. We were like band number 43 to sign up to MySpace internationally. We were like, this is amazing, because my one bandmate, he was studying a engineering course, and the dude who created MySpace was one of the teams, gave a lecture at his university. Like, we've got to sign up to MySpace. So that's how you fall in love with social media. You got to always be ahead, just a little ahead, you know? But have your pulse there.
Shout out to MySpace.
MySpace is great, dude.
I was on MySpace too.
Kitso actually created my page on MySpace.
MySpace is so dope, man. It was brilliant. I love MySpace, So sorry, what was the question?
So like, just take us through your style journey, basically, and how you came into design and the inception of Swede Crowe.
So it was actually really born out of necessity. I just always, my whole life, tried to find the stuff I wanted to wear, and we just never had the right stuff I wanted for me personally. So I always had to manipulate products, and probably the same as you guys now, that tailoring is always a cool thing and customization. But back in the day when you were shopping and you couldn't find skinny jeans, when skinny jeans were cool, like, you had to go to either buy jeans and get it tailored or buy in the women's section. Same with crew neck tees, same with caps, same with hats, same with jewelry. I mean, it's still the same story as always. Everything was always so it's either female or male. And I was like, but I'm not built like most males. I'm not your 6 foot males that wear size 32 length. I got short legs. I'm a size 30, 28. Why do I can't get pants to fit me, you know? Same with the shirts. I've always liked oversized shirts and drop shoulders just to fit the profile that you want to look like. So I always I have to customize everything to fit me. What happened was I was doing it, and then guys were like, oh, I like those. Where did you get them from? I'm like, well, I made them. Well, can you make them? Yeah, I can ask my tailor to make it. I mean, I can't physically make it. And that started rolling. And then all of a sudden you're like, well, if I want it and 20 other dudes want it, more dudes are going to want it. Or should I say more people are going to want it. And that was just generally how I got into design, should you say.
What is the store name in Pram? Was it the one in Fundo worked at?
No, that was
Prime. That was
my neighbor.
Yeah. That was
actually was called the store. Was my store was called the store. But on a marketing thing, where are you going? Let's go to the store. Well, so when you Google the store, it's like I want to go to the store. Yeah, there it is. You know, so it was just a quirky marketing thing.
Yeah.
Maybe it was lazy creativity also. You know, it's like, well,
hey man, you put all your energy into the clothes, man.
Well, it also made sense. It's like, where do you work? I work at the store. Yeah, what store? No, the store. It's like, oh, the store? Yeah, it's only one store, this store. So,
and one thing about that I can remember about you, I guess you see it now with what you're doing with Jonathan D on the socials. Whenever you got into the store, like you were not like, no, you don't belong here, whatever. Yeah. You take time, like, yo, this is whatever. And so at that time I didn't understand a lot of cards or whatever. But this guy in the store's like, yo, man, this is that and this is that. So just like that, you're the owner of the store. But you still took time out to speak to the customers, not in a way that you felt like, maybe it's a bit too hyper for them. Like you just spoke to them like they knew and then put people on game.
That's because I genuinely love product. I love clothes and I love fashion and I love what we do. And it's also great to see when you show someone how to wear something and they light up. They're like, wow, okay, cool. And it's like their intro into it. So it's like more of an education, more of passing the torch on, also more just showing dudes that you don't have to shop at your fast fashion place to look cool. You can actually explore your own inner creativity, your own inner fashion. So for me, if I went to a store and the store owner was looking cool and I got him, I was like, hey dude, can I try that cap on? He's like, it's not for you. I mean, they'll just break your spirit. It's like, what happens if he's the next dude to do something that's incredible? Because it's like so many people look as everything as a competition. I'm like, no, let's grow this industry.
100%.
You know,
true.
If I can help someone to get interested in it and they're going to go push the boundary, then they're going to share that. And you're like, well, cool. Then dude, 6, 7, 8, 10 years, we'll be the top of the game, you know?
Yeah.
And as the next dude could be the next dude that can take anybody anywhere. So why must I feel like, oh, I'm better than him? Or he's not wearing the pennies. Oh, sorry, dude, you can't buy a pair of pennies. Well, no way. You know?
Boss.
Makes sense. Makes perfect sense. Now, you also dabbled in the corporate side of, well, you are in the corporate side still of fashion, but you more creative right now, you know? But before you also did some buying as well.
Yeah, so I first started out in the game doing in 2010 when I graduated. I knew I wanted to do fashion. When I was in London, when I took my gap year in London, I was like, I tried bartending, I tried waiting, I tried being a chef, which is, I mean, this is not for me. And then I worked at Topshop. Actually, I was first started off ironing up at JD Sports. It was like my first real job as a human being. And then I was lacing up shoes after people were trying them on in the change rooms. And I started realizing how much fun it is to actually just hold product all day and just play around and mess with how you tie up shoelaces. And you also learn how people start to shop and buy because you're seeing the returns and what's not being returned. So I'd have to take a pair of Air Max in 3 colors to do trying on and return to he returned the blue and the red one, but he kept the black pair. It's like, why? And at the end of the day, you're saying 20 or 30 black pairs being sold in a lot of other colors. You're like, well, okay, so black's on trend now. And then you start seeing what silhouettes are working, what type of person is buying it. So that's the education you start getting. It's more reading people. So when I did that, I came back and I was like, in South Africa, there's a bit of a gap for customized jewelry. So my boss at that time was doing women's handbags. So I was like, well, let's do some customized jewelry for the chain stores. So just supplying chain stores. So the first people was Duns. Don't know if you know Duns.
I know Duns.
Shop and
Yeah, so
dance.
really like they were pretty back in 2010. They were pretty fashionable and like forward thinking in their approach, which was really exciting. So like, well, yeah, let's do a menswear range. That's cool. So we jumped on a plane, went to China, built a whole bunch of like beads and feathers and all that really cool rock and roll stuff. It completely bombed. It didn't do anything. So I was like, okay, we try again next. So we did another round. And the second round we got a little bit better because you also got to figure out like being too forward is not right. You got to kind of be a bit more commercial also. I'm still trying to figure out that balance, just to be honest. But the second one was a lot better. Like we did a lot more muted colors and not these bright colors that I wanted to wear. And like if I want to wear, everyone wants to wear, that's not the truth. Like sometimes you've got to also focus on the market.
Yeah.
But when I was overseas doing a trending trip, I stumbled on a brand called Urge Footwear, which was very similar to what we're doing now. It was like, it wasn't a sneaker brand, but wasn't a formal brand. It was kind of trying to find their own footprints. They were doing nice leather shoes and like woven sandals and type of stuff like that. I was like, I don't see any of that at home, but I love this. And why not try bring it in? Because there's a bit of a gap. And I know men would wear this type of stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So signed them on as a should say, brand partner. Like I signed the rights with me and my business partner at that stage, my best mate. We flew to Australia, met them, spoke a bigger game than we were. It was just two dudes. And we're looking back in hindsight, we're like, how did they ever give us this? You know, like, imagine they were in business for like 10 years and two dudes from Africa like, yeah, we can do X, Y, and Z. And we really spoke a game. We dressed real cool. We're like, yeah. And they probably looked at us like, these dudes, what are they talking about? But they probably liked the size of our balls that we flew all across around the world and said, dude, we're going to do it. Did really well. We were right that there was a gap for it. We did really well 2 seasons in. And on the third season, their styling went completely way out. And then I noticed the problem is that when you tied up to a brand, what they do, you have to do.
Yeah, you're stuck with their vision.
So like the last season, it just didn't really, we couldn't pre-sell anything. We couldn't wear it. It just was way too out for us. So like price points were too high. We're like, well, now we kind of stuck. And then my business partner at that time, he owns a headwear factory, the biggest headwear factory in South Africa. And they do Simon and Mary. They do Evans and Strachen. So we're like, well, dude, let's build a local headwear brand. This is before there was a local headwear brand. It's like, well, I have this idea of doing like a cycling cap, but 5-panel. I see it on trend overseas. I'm seeing all the brands overseas doing it. They're not really here. There was like 2Bop doing it, but that was about it. So like, but I always wanted to pop the cap up because I grew up listening to punk music, and there was that punk scene with the caps at the front. Just popped. Like, you can't find it here. The peaks are too long. You just kind of look stupid. So like, well, cool. Let's build the pattern. We did the pattern.
That's why it was small.
Exactly. Yeah, it was the cycling cap oriented. Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
It makes sense. So, and that's how we got into it. That was like cool. And then we saw that there's a gap for young fashionable dudes that want stuff that they can't get hold of, and they're tired of buying what they're forced to buy. And that genuine was it. And that spearheaded into like, well, I want to wear rose pants. Cool. Let's make rose pants. I wanted to wear derby shoes. I mean, I love formal shoes, and not anyone, but I was like, why do I always have to wear just brown leather formal shoes? Let's put prints on the shoes. Let's make it really cool. Like, there was that trend in sneaker where they were doing it at that stage. A few sneaker brands are doing like mad prints, like a lot of leopard prints and stuff. I was like, well, why can't we do it in the formal shoes? I mean, it doesn't have to be a sneaker. So we went to a local factory, like, can you make the shoe? They're like, no. I was like, can you try make the shoe? I said, we can try. So like, cool. Here's fabric. We got the fabric, tried. They made it. They were insane. Like, I can't believe we can make this. I was like, I can't believe you can make it also. Let's just sell it. And then we sold it, and that's how it started rolling. And that's how not being forced to do something is actually really good.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually a dope one, man.
Yeah.
Because like now you're also going into like a reinvention as well.
Yeah.
Right?
Constant reinvention.
Yeah, it's a constant reinvention with you as well. But also from just like a brand perspective, you know, because it was Swede Crowe, then it became Streeks.
Yeah.
You know, what informed that change, and what was, because Streeks had a more forward-facing narrative to it, right? Whereas Swede Crowe, it was more implied, you know, with the prints, and it was bold and expressive. But Streeks had more of a, you know, full frontal story. You know what I mean, the hooligan story. You know.
Yeah. So.
And what informed that, and what made you want to rebrand at that point in time?
So it was once again a necessity. Our partnership from Urge Footwear and Supreme had come out that we had split. They started Simon and Mary, and it was a family business, and there was a bit of like, we're a family business, we want to go this route. I was like, but I want to go this route. And it was just an amicable split, should we say. It's like, we can't do both. So I was like, that's fine. Can I go this direction? You guys can go that direction. And I was like, yeah, okay, cool. And then when you wake up and you're normally going to an office every day, like, oh God, now what am I going to do? Like, now I've got a brand, but I have no way what to do, and I've got to start again. So my thinking was, I understand buying, I understand fashion, I understand how to do this. Well, I'm learning, not understand, I'm learning. Let me just open a store where I can just continuously test and grow, and then figure out from there. Just literally let me figure it out. I also need a place to go, because stores aren't generally going to buy your product without being seen. So that's the problem. You don't have the critical mass or the market that store A is like, okay, cool, let me test this out for you. They want to say like, well, how many have you sold? I mean, how long have you been going together? What is your offering? I can't just put one cap on the shelf. I have to put a cap and a t-shirt and this and that so I can tell the story. And then I'm like, well, I don't want to do everything, so I can't give you everything. I want to do X, Y, and that's it. So I was like, well, let's just open up a store, do what you want to do, and then grow your offering from there. And that's literally, we started out with a pair of boots, a cap, and a t-shirt. That's what we started out with. And then I was like, well, cool. The first season sold out. Second one, I'm going to add in another product because you want to grow it. That sold out, then add in another product, and then just keep running. And then you get stuck into the cycle of business. Like, well, the customer wants black and I'm only offering gray, so let me get black now. And then the customer wants blue, but I'm offering red, let me put in blue. And then you start losing that type of creativity again, the art. And you're like, well, now you're landing up like, I'm just a store. I'm not really doing much anymore. I started stocking other brands because other dudes are coming, I got this brand and I know how hard it is to get in a store. It's like, yeah, dude, cool, I'll stock it because I know the hustle. I know how hard it is. So yeah, put it in the store. And then you land up looking like, I've just lost the whole story. So the Streaks story, I wanted to build a character, which was, he's a born hooligan. He's just brought up in punk and the early hip hop days where things were just guerrilla and rough and building a culture. And then we land up just being a store. So that was that. But the narrative was, so to go back, Streaks was meant to be that, just a rebirth of the fashion industry. I look at it now as kind of like could have been a bit of a spite store for myself. I kind of wanted to prove like I did it with Swede Crowe, I did it with Urge, I sort of did it with the accessories. I can do it again, but this time I'm going to go and do it this way. I want to be in people's face. I want to be brash and like, I can be international, so blah, blah, blah. Because we were selling Swede Crowe in Sweden, a bit in Japan, a bit in Australia. So I was like, well, I've done it. Maybe I got a bit too ahead of myself. I was like, oh, let's do it. Let's build this character called Streaks, and he can do this dude, and he's a born hooligan. And then at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, I became a store and I forgot the Streak story. So that's why I was like, let's just step back. Streaks will always be there. Yeah, it can always come back. It's sometimes good to just rest. But I needed to restart on that front. So yeah, that was the story, and that's what happened with the store. And so, yeah, I think I went on a tangent there.
No,
but anyway,
It makes so much sense.
I'm 35 years. I got 35 years of stories. I'm 36. I got 36 years of stories now.
I still own a pair of socks from, I think, when was it? 2016.
Yeah.
I still own a couple of them.
Yeah. So that was the cool thing.
But premium. Those are good quality.
So I love that because I don't have the theory of the fashion. I don't know that your t-shirt has to be 7 centimeters by 10 centimeters. It's all lies anyway. I don't know. I just know how I want to look on a person.
Yeah.
I always loved that about women's wear because I bought a lot of women's wear because I was only forced to buy women's wear because that's the only stuff that kind of fitted me at the stage. So I loved how women that is very pattern driven and very draping and fabric driven. It's not just, oh, here's a pair of denims for you. Good luck. Go have fun. Like men, we're like, oh, here's your denim. Good luck. Like if you look at the trousers, the trousers are like way longer than everybody.
Yeah,
and like,
32.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you have to do it. But with women, they always, as they put on, you're like, wow, you look beautiful automatically. It's like, that's so unfair. Why can't we just put it on? So I always use that whenever I design anything. I'm like, it has to be pattern and fabric driven. So it's your fit and fabric. That's the most important parts of any item of clothing or shoe or sock.
Yeah.
So when I went to these local factories, because I couldn't buy internationally, and I didn't want to buy internationally. But when I went to the local factory, I was like, can you make it, but make it 10 centimeters long, not 15 centimeters long? They're like, no. I'm like, why? So, because we used to make in 15. I'm like, so just make it 10. And it'll be this whole bargaining thing. They're constantly, well, can you just make it 10? And they're like, well, I'll test it for you. And it comes out, they're like, wow, look how good it looks at 10. I'm like, yes. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, I just think that's how it looks. It should look. The men's sock should sit a certain height. Like, why? I mean, just do it. Same with the shorts. I went to my first CMT. She was a lady who was a woman's. I went to a woman's
CMT?
Cut to make trim. Sorry. So it's like it's a small factory. A cut make trim is like just a few seamstresses sitting around there, and a lady who's like the boss. So where I went, she was like the boss bitch. She was sitting around and go, "Oh, you must make this. You must make that." So it's cool. I went there. I was like, "What do you make?" And she's like, "We make women's belts and women's dresses." I'm like, "That's perfect. That's exactly what I need." They're like, "What?" I said, "Because I need the perfect waistband and I need the perfect fit of bottom." So a belt is waist in my mind. It's like that's where it fits. It makes sense. And if you're doing dresses, it flows correctly. It's got to sit a certain way. So you can make me a pair of pants.
So you understand length.
Yeah. It's like, cool. She's like, yeah, great. Let's do it. I'm like, good. Did it. And I had like a 3-button process. I wanted to either be wide leg or tapered at the bottom at that stage. I don't want to use ribbing because I don't want to be only stuck in the fact that you can wear ribbing. So it's like, some dudes like it wide, some dudes like it tight. So why can't we offer them a button post? She's like, yeah, dresses wear button and press studs. Just put press studs. I'm like, cool. That makes sense. And then that's how we built the pants. So that was the continuous process. That's why the socks were so dope, because it's like you could either get below the knee or secret and sometimes ankles. Like, but you want it just there. It's like, it's just got to fit there. You want to wear a pair of high tops and have the branding on the top, you know? You just want it there. And you don't want to roll it over and roll it down. So all the products that I've designed still is just built out of necessity. It's just like, it's what I want it to look like.
I mean, on the sock front, I mean, I only wear JD socks these days.
They're good socks there, buddy. They're really good socks there. Yeah, they're really good socks there.
So, like everything is out of necessity, but was there ever somebody who you saw that looked a certain way? Like basically, where does it come from? Like this whole style thing, like things should fit like this.
So that's a good question. So I thought about this over the many years. I'm very inspired by many different genres of everything. It's like I'm a smorgasbord of like stuff, should we say. Like as you talk about, I enjoy old movies, but I enjoy black and white horrors, but I also enjoy like really bad, like love romantic comedies. And I just love it. It's a smorgasbord of everything. So I can't really say, yes, that's what inspires me. But when you're looking at fashion, like you look at how gentlemen used to dress, and I always refer to it as like, because we didn't have much choice back in the day, you always had to look your best in your best. And so a man would go out and shop and buy the best he could to always look his best. So it's like, I want to offer that because I want to always look my best in what I'm wearing. Doesn't matter what I'm wearing, I always just want to look the best of it. That's why these everyday sweats have been kind of revolutionary because of the fit and the fabric. You don't look messy. You don't look like you're wearing a sweat. You feel like you're wearing something good.
Yeah.
You use heavy fabrics, drop shoulder, double stitching. They don't shrink in the wash. And
They don't.
You always feel like you're dressing up. And I think I always laugh with my father. He's like, every moment is a dress up moment. I'm like, it is. You should want to dress up at every moment. You don't really want to dress down. You always want to dress up. So that's what it is. It's like, I look around and the men in the 50s and 60s and 70s, they always look good. Like the jazz musicians, they always look so good.
Yeah.
You know? They wore high-waisted pants and always good shoes and always a good hat. And I've always been obsessed with shoes and hats. That's like my number one. So you always start your outfit with your shoes and your hats, and the rest must follow. But for me, looking at every different thing. So if you want to be like the inspiration. So for inspiration, if I want to wear pants, I gotta look at the best pants you can possibly look at. Like who makes the best pants and study the best pants. So you start filling into this whole world of dudes who wore pants, like just high-waisted pants. You're like, so many good dudes who wore so many good pants, but no one knows of them because everyone is always stuck in a genre of fashion.
Yeah.
You know, I always want to be the Travis Scott world. I didn't mean to point at you. I want to dress like that. Or I'm only going to wear denims, or I'm only going to wear coats. It's like, no, dude. Like everyone wears everything. Like, just wear. So study, learn the product. So for me, it's hard to say who I fully am inspired by. I do get inspired by certain regions around the world, and that's really based just because how good they look in certain seasons. Like, there's nothing better than a man in New York streets wearing his sweats with a coat over and a good pair of New Balance and Nikes. You just look, it looks so perfect. It's like, you can't better than that. You just can't better that. Bit of snow in the background. He's wearing a long coat. His sweats, his hoodie's up. It's like beautiful. But then you go look at the Scandinavians and you can't wear coats better than them. You know? Look at the Swedes and the Norwegians. Like, oh my God, they look so good in coats. Like, how good does that coat look? And it's like a different fabric. And you only know that when you start feeling fabric. But then you look at, like, now I'm got a mad obsession with linen suits and stuff. And like, but look at those Italians when they're wearing the suits. Like, oh my God, the suits are so beautiful, you know. But they can pull up because the weather makes it pull up. But like, being in Africa, we have all this weather. Like, oh, dope. Let's just mix and match everything. So don't be inspired by one item. Be inspired by the item rather. Don't be inspired by one person. Be inspired by the item. That's my theory. And then Tony Soprano. Hey, let's just, you know, at the moment. You know?
But you sound like somebody who doesn't have favorites.
No, I do have favorites. I do favor certain things. For me, I favor basics. Like I always wanted to make your core basic the best that you can do. So I do love basics. I do love a hoodie. I do love sweat shorts. I do love denims, and I do love like a good jacket. So I do love basics. I mean, you don't really have to reinvent everything. Or actually, nothing needs to be reinvented in fashion. It really doesn't. It just needs to be done correctly.
Perfected.
Yeah, not even, I don't want to say perfected because I want the next dude to perfect that level of it. And then
push it more.
As I said, I love product. So I want someone to keep pushing that.
Okay.
But I don't want, like, I'd hate seeing when they're like, oh, let's use this new fabrication and it's so light and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I want to wear a leather-soled shoe that it takes me 6 months to break in because I've earned my stripes with that, you know?
This guy doesn't want that.
He doesn't want to break
He doesn't want to
See, I
break
think that's me. I want to break stuff in. I want to earn my stripes. When you wear it and it fits your foot, you're like, I've
My
earned
shoes
this.
come with stripes on.
That's a whole nother conversation, you know? but that's me. Like, I've always said the stuff that you've worn into it, it's been great, but it sounds a bit contradictory because now what we're doing with our footwear now is we're trying to build the hybrid of it. So we're trying to take the formal shoe, which I love, and I'm trying to make it feel as comfortable as possible at the start, but I'm still leaving room to break in, if that makes sense, because no one wants to break in anymore. No one really respects the art of...
Especially not me, man.
No, but it is what it is, and I appreciate it. We have so much going on in life and so much to worry about in the world. Everybody. So why have bad shoes? That's true. Life's way too short for bad shoes.
Yeah.
So,
but we're still here on materials. Like, you spoke a lot about how, like, linen suits and whatever, like, you're big in materials. And now the world is heading into this direction of, like, what is it?
Recycling.
Yeah. And I've had a couple, not a couple, like, I've had a pair of shoes, namely Stan Smith. And these are prime grade, which is recycled material. And what's supposed to be leather, that vegan leather, it doesn't...
So,
you don't like the way it feels?
Well, also the way it looks at some points. Like, at some angles, I'm like, let me go home and change these things.
I prefer looking at it a bit of a different way to may open up a good discussion. It's like, if the animal, like the leather, for example, you want to use leather because there's so much harm done to animals, inverted commas, there's so much good leather lying around. So use that leather. They're recycling plastic. Stop buying fast fashion for plastic, because then you're going to end up in the situation where, oh, well, we have to recycle now. We made 600 million pairs of Stan Smiths and we're sitting with 500 million now because they're so off the boil. Now we have to recycle them to make another 500 million. It's like, instead of constantly pushing consumerism, rather make a good product and the guy's going to wear that product for long. So you make less.
Yes.
So you don't have to recycle. And then what we're doing now is we're searching for good leather tanneries that respected the animals. So we're trying to find the full 360. This guy made the animals. This guy killed the animals. Here's the leather that is just sitting. I'm like, let me take that leather. Let me use that leather because the animal died for a reason then. Instead of it sitting on a mine dump just deteriorating, let me use that leather. Instead of going to a place that, well, we make leather from this cow. It's like, no, there's leather there. So that's my theory. It's like, shop less, shop smart, also source smart. Don't have to recycle the dead stock that you've used.
Mm.
No, you didn't use, you wanted to use.
Yeah.
Or the dead stock from the past. Like, I'm very anti using plastic. I know we do. Well, currently we have to.
Mm.
But as I said, the 3-year process, and now we are moving into that next of sourcing correctly and moving away from your plastics, your PUs, your vegan leathers. We just want to source correctly because we're not going to change. I won't be able to change it maybe in a few generations, but we're going to start the process of changing how people source and buy. I just want to start rolling that process for me, for my conscience, and hopefully other people following it, you know?
Yeah.
So vegan leather and recycled leather, it's as we all know, it's the hot topic. It's recycled. It's like, is it really recycled? Is it just the stuff that you made that didn't sell that you're recycling that to us again? Which is good. It means you're not using it, not using more, but that's going to sit. So you're going to have to recycle that again. And every time you do that process, you're damaging even more and more because that process isn't the greatest process also. You know, washing denims is terrible. Melting down plastic is terrible. Molding shoes, it's not great. So just redoing the whole process to make another 100 million of the same shoes that didn't really work the first time. I'd rather step back, say, cool, let's not offer Stan Smiths for now. I'm just using that because that's the option. Let's try focus on something else and let's get the correct materials. Let's find the leather tanneries that have respected the cow or the pig or whatever that had to die for that. And let's just do it that way. You'll be charged a premium, but the shoe will last you way longer.
Definitely. Which I feel like it's where things are going now. People are like charging premium prices because now the whole thing now, there's also a new trend where it's like wear longer. Yeah, you know, where people like they
shop
make,
smarter. It's really an important thing. And we as consumers, we need to actually shop smarter. We have to. It's super important to do it for everything.
How does one get informed about shopping smarter? That's also another thing because I think because it's fashion and it's clothes, people don't really take the time to think about the environment aspect of it. You know what I mean? So how do people learn to shop smarter, and how do people learn about the damage that they're doing by shopping more and fast fashion?
So I think it's just purely just look at your closet. That's the first step. If you want to buy, let's say we'll use a plain white t-shirt because that's I'm looking at. I'll explain that whole process. That how many plain white t-shirts are you buying a season and from where? And sadly, most people are buying from your fast fashion retail, which is buy 2 for $2.50, and they end up buying 20 a season.
This is true.
That is not shopping smart. That's just shopping for the sake of shopping.
This is
so
that's me.
Which is, you don't understand the damage that is because the amount of cotton and washing and stitching and doing and deliveries and the oceans, how it gets filled with these boats to get delivered here, and then it sits on the store. It's a whole process to sell. They have to sell 10 million to make the money that they need to make. So they keep feeding it to you and feeding it to you, and you're like, "Cool, I'm going to buy it," and it's not meant to last. Because they need you to buy 10 million. So like,
3 washes.
It's going to wash, 3 washes if you're lucky. And then you're like, oh, I've got to go buy more. But it's only 250 for 2. So I buy 250 for 2 continuously. And if you look at the end of the season, there's that pile like this.
Yep.
And you're like, I could have bought 3 or 4 plain white t-shirts that would have lasted me 3 seasons. And it would have been this like 1 t-shirt cheaper than what I spent. And in the day, it's your core garment, your plain white t-shirt. No one's going to say, oh, you the white t-shirt, dude. No, everyone's the white t-shirt, dude, you know? So that's how you start your process. It's like, stop buying much. Stop buying quantity, buy quality. And I say that on your price point. I'm not saying you got to go out and buy a luxe brand because that's quality. It's not really. It's just your price point. So if you can afford to buy 1 t-shirt a season, save up to buy the 1 white t-shirt. Don't go buy the 5 t-shirts to be your 1 white t-shirt. Rather buy less.
That's direct to you.
Look, we've all
guilty of it.
We've all been terribly guilty for that. We also wanted that fast fashion, you know. I laugh because in the days when I say skinny jeans, because in like 2005 there were no skinny jeans for dudes. So then you buy a woman's skinny jeans, and they were well affordable because women's wear is very affordable because it's all fast fashion. So you're like, oh dope, I buy the charcoal, I buy the dark navy, I buy the sulfur, which looks like the dark navy. After I watch the sulfur 4 times, it's going to look like the charcoal, so I better buy the black one. Oh, let me buy the white one just for that one Saturday. And then you end up, dude, I got like 10 pairs of jeans, and you literally end up wearing one. But because we always want to keep pushing ourselves and have more and more and more. It's just very wasteful. If you just look at yourself, what you land up wearing on the most basic, it's like a white tee, a good pair of denims, sweats, and then you're good to go.
Yeah.
Damn, because I was
100%.
looking at I have over between 80 and 100 white t-shirts, and like you were saying, like
80 and 100, bro.
yeah. White- Do you know how I buy white t-shirts? Like literally every
You
other
just
week.
walk and buy a white t-shirt.
Yeah, I just walk in like because the Woolworths is just downstairs. Just go 2. Let me get 2. Go.
Yeah.
So
Like I have a lot, and when I look at them, like it's what you're saying. Like most of them don't age quite well. So the reason also why I have a lot is because I'm not wearing a lot of them. So I just keep re-upping throughout.
So that's what I wanted to do now was with JD there with the t-shirt that we're wearing there, is we went to heavy grammage, 100% comb cotton, high neck, the double stitch on the shoulder
stitch
line
on the
so it
shoulder
doesn't
line,
shrink, the hidden seam on the shoulder so it's got that fashionable look, boxed, oversized. And we wanted to combat your polo shirt that dudes wear. Oh, man, this polo shirt, I need it in 17 different colors, you know? That's my everyday work. Now you can wear the t-shirt to work because if you tuck it in, you're smart. Wear it over shorts, you looks good. Wear it on out with a jacket over, you look good. So it fulfills that button-up shirt process, and it fulfills the polo shirt, and it's your plain white tee. So it's your core basic forever. So by using a thicker cotton, 100% comb cotton, but a thicker grammage, you ain't going to shrink. It's going to last. You're going to wash it as many times as you need. It will start deteriorating the more you do sports in it and stuff because it's not a technical thing. It's not meant to last forever. So if you're going to start playing lots of tennis in it, there's movement in it, sooner or later it will. But then for the price, you would have had like 100 more wears than you would have in your fast fashion guy. So you bought 1 to 100. So you're being smart. And the price point for that isn't where it's supposed to be because we started in a re-education. We actually entry-level priced it to help people understand that this is how
better.
t-shirts are supposed to be. And then hopefully we can maintain that. But it's going to get to a point where with costs overseas and everything, it's going to increase.
Go up a bit.
Whereas those guys, they're buying a load more, goes a bit down.
I might have to buy these in bulk then while the
Yeah,
price is still
you know.
happening.
Hey, shop less, bro.
Shop
Yeah,
less.
shop less. No, but like even if that, if you buy more, you will wear it for a lot longer anyway.
Yeah.
And it's a fit that's not going to go out of fashion. It may, as you said, maybe one day Travis decides to wake up and wear a crop shirt having his belly button out and all the hype kids are like, well, now I need to wear a crop shirt. But if you want to be that dude, then cut the shirt to a crop. It's cool. But otherwise you don't have to. You can still be the core garment which we all love and want to wear. That's why we just redefining core garments.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
You ever draw inspiration from other like international brands or
Oh yeah,
trends?
definitely. Tons. I draw mainly from creative directors, should you say, than the actual physical product. Also, just saying that every product has been invented in my mind. It's like, it may not be out there, but everything's been invented and everyone's had the idea. So I do that to preface, like when I design something and someone else sees it somewhere else, it's like, yeah, well, because everything's been designed.
Yeah.
It's just how you interpret it in your way. So I always try and interpret it in my way and what I want. But I look at more the people behind the product for inspiration more than the actual product. Or I like to follow a brand's history and not what they stand for, because I sound preachy. It's like, oh, they this. I'm like, no, I don't care. They could just be a fashion brand. I don't care. But I like looking at the creative directors, the owners, their stories, because that's what interests me. Where they and why did they do that? So like I become a historian when I design. I like to go back and see, as I said, who made the best pants? Oh, it was the 1950s. The dude looked great in 1950s. Well, let me see who wore it. And then you stumble upon dudes like Paul Newman. When you look at him, like we only know him as a movie star, but outside of his movie stars, like, dude, that look was so stylish. It's like every dude wished he could dress like that. Miles Davis, you look at him, it's like, my God, he wasn't just a great musician. He dressed like such a G. It was amazing, you know? So you start learning that. And because you're forced to go back where there was no instant info, you actually have to sit there and divulge into it and go through articles and read and like watch black and white interviews with them and read old school articles that people have put on Pinterest, and you start learning about them. You're like, well, okay, that makes sense. You know, that sounds good. Instead of, let me jump on Instagram. Oh, Brand Z did this. Oh, dope. Now, if most people are like, well, Brand Z, whoever brand it is, I don't want to drop any names. They did it. I'm going to do it, but in blue, because I want to be a little bit different. But it's like, no, dude, everyone knows that's that brand.
Yeah.
Don't be that brand. Push yourself. Learn. Just, if you love clothes and you love fashion, learn why he did that.
Yeah.
So, like a guy like Teddy Sanders from ALD.
I was about to say it.
So I've been following LD from like the first day they launched. Like ironically just stumbled upon me because I was looking up hoodies and streetwear and New York sweats. And his first range were New York sweats. I was like, this just looks like it came out of 1920 and it looked so perfect. So I've always followed Teddy. And like what I love about
Teddy's so good.
you can't find out about Teddy. Teddy is literally, no one knows much about Teddy.
Literally, I've read one interview from
I've
Teddy.
only,
And
So-
when you're saying things, I was like, damn, you sound so
That
much
sounded
like
Teddy.
Teddy.
That's what I love. And like everything he does, you
Because
can
that
see.
interview is very similar to what he said.
Yeah,
Like,
pretty
there's
much.
the stuff
you
that
know?
he's saying now.
So I'm like, yeah.
And I love Teddy from ALD. Noah's
Million
doing some
Dollar.
great stuff, even though he's moved on to J. Crew, which would be good for fast fashion because he preaches this whole buy less. So he's gone to a massive chain store. It's like, no, we're going to offer less, which is going to be exciting to see what happens if he can pull it off. So that's a Grace Bonner. Is it Wales Bonner? Yeah, Grace Bonner. And the
Wales
brand?
Bonner.
Wales Bonner, yeah.
Wales
So
Bonner,
Grace,
who
she's
does a
doing
lot of
amazing.
stuff with
Yeah.
Adidas, yeah.
It's actually she's doing incredible
Isn't
stuff.
she?
Yeah,
Oh,
she's
dope.
doing amazing
Just love
stuff.
the clothes.
Emily Bodie. She's also doing incredible work, Bodie. What I love about her, she's like, I'm a knitwear specialist.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stick doing knitwear. And you come to my store, we'll upscale everything for you. And it's like, dope. Okay, great, man. And then she wholesales stuff also, which is brilliant.
Ronnie?
Sure. Ronnie, I find Ronnie it's a business now. And you can see it's become a business for him. And I'm not knocking business. I'm trying to learn business. And I maybe knock it because I don't understand it. So you generally knock things you don't really understand too well. So I look at Ronnie as like, your greatest stuff was when you're just doing stuff for doing stuff.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. There was no responsibility to your shareholders, or he doesn't have shareholders, or no responsibility to your staff or to pay the bill. I just finding that it's now becoming, I have to pay the bill, so I have to do this.
Yeah.
Because they drop every Monday. They have
Every
the,
Monday.
the Monday
But for me, the
program.
grossest was that Pantone collection they dropped. There was the 100 and something different shades of hoodies or whatever it was with the New Balance to match. It was like, oh, the
Yes.
Asics to match. sorry.
that.
I don't remember. For me, that
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest.
You're not a Ronnie fan?
I'm also
no,
not.
he's not been for years.
Oh,
I-
really?
No.
That's what I said. I loved Ronnie back in the days where he was doing 1 or 2 collabs a year.
Yeah,
and like
yeah.
really exciting collabs. Now it's
But maybe when you move into brick and mortar, that's what happens.
Yeah, once you build like a place in Paris
that's
that looks like
I mean,
a
look, that
space that's
store is
expensive, it
exquisite.
looks
It
amazing.
looks insane.
But the
amazing.
rent
You
must
get
be
the rent
out the
and
roof.
Shout out
his
to Daniela
initial
Sham.
his initial layout to get that store to like that. I mean, he's
That's
trying to pay
Daniela
it off
Sham
quickly.
there.
Yeah.
So Ronnie's cool. He breeds a culture which is consumerism, which I'm not.
Yeah.
I feel like,
Yeah, that is not
as I said
shopping
once again,
less.
it's doing 100 hoodies in different. The shades are so close together that even if you had to wash the one after a
You
few,
get
it's
the
going to look
other.
exactly the
Yeah.
same. And his price points aren't cheap
Yeah.
for that
Ronnie's
type of
not
stuff.
cheap.
But I respect what he's done tremendously. You can't take away everything he's done. He leads the culture, which is cool.
The
I think, to be honest, I don't know, but I feel like he rides on Teddy's coattails quite a lot. Like a lot of his stuff looks like Teddy's, and Teddy did.
They do look alike.
They
They
look
do.
very like-
They do.
I'm
but-
surmising, but I know
But-
there were rumors that Teddy did work there in the very beginning.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And Keith.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
Teddy definitely introduced that
Yeah.
look and feel to him, which means he's not riding his coattail. He just did it first.
Yeah.
So- But look, ALD's been going for years, and I'm finding so many brands right now because of his New Balance hype that he's got. Everyone's jumping
And
on.
he's moving to New Balance
Yeah,
now.
Teddy's this, and ALD's like, dudes, just don't ruin it for us, please. Just let it just be. Let it like. He's been around for like nearly 10 years, and you guys only known of him the past year.
Yeah.
Like, just relax, just breathe a little, you know.
And he reminds me of Ronnie back in the days. Like Ronnie had fire collabs. Like
Yeah,
Teddy hasn't missed with
No,
his collabs
Ted-
in New Balance.
he has not
Even the
missed a
stuff
season.
that came out like on Friday, like the salmon and the green.
Yeah, oh,
It's just like plain.
with the
But
garden gloves and they're beautiful. But
I love Teddy, man.
then there's another
Like,
brand
hard.
called I Love Ugly from New Zealand. I don't know if you guys know I Love
Yeah,
Ugly
we
in New
do.
Zealand. They've also been around for so long, and he's from where they are. If you look where New Zealand is, in the middle of nowhere, like literally, and he led the culture for years. And Ronnie, once again, I feel surmising, Ronnie jumped on his coattail with the cuffed joggers and stuff, because I Love Ugly did it for way longer than Kif did it.
Okay, but with Ronnie's story about the joggers though.
Y'all can keep them joggers.
Yeah. They were dope in the day, but look, I know because I was in Australia when Zane Robe were doing it also.
Okay.
Zane Robe came from I Love Ugly also, that thing. And I was like, it was way before Made It Anywhere.
Okay.
And mine was purely just on time. I'm not saying I spotted it, because I didn't.
Yeah.
I jumped on that trend way late anyway. But then when you start reading up, you're like, hold on, Ronnie. Like, it's a big, bold statement to make. Yeah, you may have commercialized it exceptionally well. Like, you may have. That's great. No one say it. But a dude like I Love Ugly, one dude in his garage doing the dopest graphic tees, the best five panels you've ever seen. Yeah. And then he did the shirt, not the short shorts, that was Zane Robe. Oh, I've gone blank on that. I was like, I think Australia led there. I could say Australia and New Zealand did it first. Sorry.
You're gonna do the Googles, bro.
Yeah, I'll have to go look into I Love Ugly and whatever. And then what do you think about like who's this guy that you love? Fear of God. Who's that guy?
Jerry Lorenzo.
Yeah.
So okay, that's
I want to hear this one.
I love Jerry's business model. I love it. I love what he does as a business ethic, which is, I'm just going to do me, and people like what I do, or they don't. Great. His price points scare the poop out of most people, let's be honest. It's insane. I'm not talking the essential line. I'm talking the Fear of God line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even Essentials is a
How he started,
is better.
I disagree by doing those like vintage those thrifted t-shirts, whatever. He did those all like washed out t-shirts and stuff with the cutout flannel shirts.
Yeah.
That was his styling, because he's a great stylist. As a stylist, he's impeccable.
Yeah.
But that was too LA for me. I'm way more East Coast than
my guy.
you know. Like I like certain pops
The
of
best
LA.
coast.
Yeah, there's certain pops of LA, but if I had to pick one, New York is probably the best dressed city in the world.
That's because of the winter.
No, just because generally there's also body, but like you can look at the big hub cities. There's so much there that you can always find something that's incredible. Whereas I find LA thinks they're the center of the earth.
Yeah.
But they're not really. They do.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I've got no skin in the game right now, but
No, you do. But this is not.
Just can't, man.
Like if you just if you go back to the original, Biggie was a way better dressed.
No, than Tupac.
No.
Wait. Then who?
I love Tupac's music.
Okay.
We're not talking music. We're talking style. You guys will school me on music all day.
Not close.
You think Biggie's a better dresser than
First of all,
Pac?
I'm just saying. Like I'm just gonna say. Iconic to iconic, okay? And look, I'm heavily influenced by Tupac. I wear a bandana literally every day of my life because of Tupac. Honestly, I do.
Cool.
I have the bald head and I rock the bandana often. And I equate that purely to Tupac.
Yeah.
But I would pick the Coogee sweater and the Timbs over any Tupac outfit if I had to choose one for one.
Kalkanai.
Okay, but like
No, his was Coogee. That Coogee sweater.
Okay. I wouldn't.
Kalkanai.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't choose Pac as a West Coast representative.
Because he's from the East.
He doesn't dress very West Coast.
Doesn't he? I mean,
He
the
doesn't.
oversized pants and stuff.
No.
No, that's...
So who would you...
Pac is very like he's
In
like
between.
this.
You see that he's been through a lot. There's
let's look at-
Baltimore in him and there's...
Yeah, there's a lot.
Let's look at
We're talking like YG, Snoop Dogg,
Okay.
Ice Cube.
Ice Cube,
back in the
those
day,
guys,
right?
those
Yeah,
guys.
okay, fine.
You know what I'm
Okay, fine.
saying?
Those
Cube
guys.
back in the day with
Raider
the flat
cap,
top, the Raiders,
Crew neck
all
sweaters.
black. Fine, I agree with that.
You know what I'm saying?
Fine, I tend to, but that's not really LA. That
Timeless.
is,
That's timeless.
yeah, but that's like a tiny pocket of
Yeah, but
LA.
it's still a pocket.
These are
Yeah.
just...
It's still a pocket. It's still a pocket.
Guys. And also Ice
Gucci
Cube,
sweater,
like you saying Ice Cube, that's
Gucci
how
sweater.
every other LA guy looked.
No, but
the
Gucci
black
sweater-
t-shirt with the
Exactly,
Dickies and the whole
Exactly.
stuff.
That's what we're saying. That's what we're
That's
saying.
not enough.
Exactly.
But that is the you see,
timeless.
LA is like the basics. Timeless basics.
Fine, okay.
LA, that's it.
Flannel. The flannel.
Flannel.
Chinos.
But now you're going Chino. Now you're going Cholo style. Like Cholo style is the
But
greatest style.
Cholo
Okay?
is still,
I know,
it's still
but
West Coast, though.
But Cholo, okay, I agree with you. I'm gonna backtrack.
Yeah.
Nope.
The Cholo the subculture of Cholo is
Yeah.
probably the best.
That is-
Agreed.
that
Fine. Hands down. The high top Dickies with the
Exactly.
socks. your Cortez, the wife beater, and the flannel. Fine.
Even a lot of skatewear, you can like trace back slightly to that.
Fine. But that's Cholo. I can't even call that LA. That's Cholo. That's
You
just
see
like
what I'm saying?
that's like more.
But Cholo
Mexico.
is LA though.
That's Mexico.
Cholo-
It's more Mexican.
Come on, guys. You guys are being
Mexico.
Mexico's on the west coast. You guys are being
But it's Mexico.
Okay, but Cholo style
Yeah.
for me, hands down, will always go down. It's also
Well,
heavily
it's-
inspired in Cholo style.
For me, like even if you think about it, it translates it to South Africa.
Yeah.
and how, what we
Oh yeah,
adapted
Cholo
as well.
style's massive.
We-
All stars,
you know what I
all
mean?
stars, the dinky.
Bantula.
Pantula is
Brentwood,
basically that. Yeah,
It's-
exactly.
Yeah.
So for me, West
That's
Coast
why
has
I
my
like.
heart.
I agree.
But-
That's why I was like, I don't have skin in the game. I do
But
definitely.
No, I
if you're going
no.
as a full whole,
Mm.
East Coast as a full whole,
We're gonna
there's
agree
many
to disagree.
seasons in
You
East
guys,
Coast.
you
The
keep
thing is-
saying skating
and-
like
and-
New
and
York
like
didn't
that's-
impact skating at all. When you say
No, we didn't keep
It didn't,
saying.
no.
What do you mean keep saying? I brought up skating once.
No, but skating,
but
but on
you
that
said
on
it.
that topic, I
You
do
said
believe,
it.
and I stand by skate and punk culture. I use the culture, not the actual musicality, but punk culture and skate probably will influence fashion the most out of every culture or every subculture for
Yeah.
everything, without a doubt. As that free mental, that free spirited.
Yeah.
I got to do what I do for form and function, but I got to look super good doing it.
100%.
And yes, they always try to look as bad as they could to do it in back in the day.
Yeah.
But they're from the Doc Martens to your SB Dunks to, I mean, there's so many trends that came from punk and skate.
To Vans.
to
which
Vans,
is like a marriage of both.
that when you look at designers nowadays, back to the circle, back to Jerry, you can see where he's heavily inspired by. I think back to Jerry, his business model is great. Do I love his fashion line? No.
Okay.
Do I like it? I like certain categories. I like certain products. I love his business model though.
Yeah.
His essential line, I think it's a clever, the concept is amazing. I just think if you're going to build the essential line, you can't outprice yourself for people that want to be part essentials. I just found like, I know what fabrics you're using because we know the fabrics, and that's purely just being in the game and the touch and feel. Your price points are a little ridiculous. I know in the beginning, I don't know if Essentials made in LA. I have to read the labels or certain stuff, but his Fear of God is made in LA. So yes, there's a higher price point per production, which is fine.
manufacturing, yeah.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
But if you're building an essential line and if it's made internationally, I don't know, I'm just surmising again,
Yeah.
your price point shouldn't be that. I think
That's a good
you're
point.
doing big units in that.
Yeah.
You're doing mass units.
Yeah.
You should be better priced. And then you go, that's my same I say with Kanye. I think you can't speak fashion without Kanye. You can't.
Well, nowadays.
Do I love his clothes? No, not at all. Is it my
It's not at all.
not at all. It's not my look and feel. His shoes, I love what he does for him. I don't think it should be as big as it is personally, as a styling point of view. I don't think it's, most of the time it looks comedic and it looks pretty sci-fi, and like if you're designing a horror, like a science fiction film, like, well, let's put these wave runners there. Look like he's coming from outer space. Okay? The foam runners.
Oh, the foam runners. I love the wave runners.
The foam runners, sorry. And I find like it gets a bit comedic, but that's my personal. But I love how he has taken himself and stuck to his business. Like for me, I say to anybody who's entering the game, use him as a Bible, respect that, know your worth and do your worth.
Yeah.
Stick to your story
Yeah.
and don't let anybody tell you that your story is crap and this is shit. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
That's as model. And that's why I always say you can't speak fashion without Kanye, because he has changed everyone's mentality, how to look at themselves, how to look at their game. So that's for me.
That sounds like where your pride talk.
Yeah.
So, but there's many dudes in that also. If you,
Not,
you know, like if you look at Hedy Slimani, also,
Yeah,
dude,
Hedy Slimani.
wherever he goes, you can just see him.
As
It's like
Kanye keeps saying, Hedy Slimane.
Hedy Slimani, whatever it is, Slimani, whatever it is. When you look at it, it's like, oh, dude, I follow you wherever you go, dude, because your handwriting speaks to me personally. I love it, but it's also so good. He sticks to his gun. He's like, I perfected the boot, I perfected the denim. Like maybe his new Celine range is a little bit too TikTok-y or a little bit too hypey,
TikTok-y.
whatever it is. I don't know what the youth call it. I don't know.
TikTok-y.
TikTok.
What's your thoughts on, what's it, Kim Jones?
I loved his first 2 seasons. I love what he's doing now. I'm as I said, I'm just looking at different. I just don't think he has much of a say anymore. It feels like someone's taken his diary or taken his lead, and like he doesn't really do anything anymore. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
I found his last one he just released their, what do you call it? The skate vacation collection or something. I don't know. Coins, and I was like, dude, it's like, what is this?
I haven't peeped that, man. What?
I did dig Kim Jones though, because I know he grew up in skate, and you can see the skate culture. And we're not going to go into Virgil because that is just terrible. I don't want to even.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go. That's why I wanted to go. And there's, I mean, like,
we can't go there, and I'm probably going to have so much hate.
Look, I'm also.
You okay on Virgil as well?
Virgil.
Yeah,
I mean,
But again, respect the business, respect what he's done.
Yes.
Respect, but
just not personally.
for me, the only thing that was our early days Pyrex.
Even Pyrex wasn't for me.
Pyrex lost me as a fan. That's where
Yeah.
I completely lost me as a business model, as a fan.
Okay.
When you go buy Gildan sweater for $3 back in the day.
Yeah.
You put a thing and you're charging $600. I'm like, dude, that's
You
not
buy
for
Champion
culture.
sweats
That's not
and
culture.
that's not for the
That is
culture at
purely
all.
for your own pocket.
yeah.
And don't come
Respect
preach
the
culture.
business.
No, but as I said, that's Kanye. He knows his worth.
Yep.
He's going for it. So that's why I say respect them as business models. You don't have to you don't have to like their product.
Yeah.
I don't. I think LV at the moment looks like what they would sell at a Chinese market. I think it looks very tacky and very cheesy. All the neo, like all this pop colors and like the meltable.
I think
What's it? The
for me,
camo
maybe
color
the
camo.
accessories, like the bags, which are like planes. And then
But
there's
that's-
one that looks like this.
That's
I
not-
forgot
that's not
who
my
that
language.
mascot
Yeah.
is.
Not my
But for me,
language, never
Gucci,
will be.
for example.
I get what he's saying when he says Chinese market. It's very way gaudy.
Yeah,
It's
it looks
very,
Hong Kong,
like,
as they would say back in the day. You know, it's like
It's very Carnival City.
exactly.
Yeah.
You feel like if you walked into like one of those China marts down there, you're like, oh, I can buy this LV bag.
Yeah.
It's 300 ZARs. It's okay, cool. You know.
So it gets difficult to tell the
But-
fakes or the reals.
Yeah. Then you look at Gucci, for example. Everyone's gonna have a thing, but what Alessandro did with that is just insane. He literally rechanged the whole game for everybody,
Rebranded.
everything, and they still will always be up to the when they're not the greatest to ever do it. Everyone will chase them always, and everyone will think, let's keep doing this, let's do that. Like even Celine's trying to do it, and I love Celine, and that's where Hetty is now. But you just look like you're trying to chase Gucci's bag, and it's like, nah, dude. He's just created his own. He's miles away.
What do you think about the collab, Balenciaga and Gucci?
Hated everything about it.
Really?
I hated.
I had like 4 looks that I liked out of it.
Can I be honest? That for me,
Yeah.
that once again is like, but what is the point of that?
Like there were 4 good like looks out of that whole
even
thing.
any. There were no good looks. There was nothing.
I messed with it.
I remember you put it on your stories hard.
Yeah, like
No,
yo,
like-
I was like,
But for me, like the smaller brands now, which I've always known I've not say that sounded very
Yeah.
arrogant. Sorry, I've always seen that they lead culture, and these big brands steal from inverted commas or take from these young brands.
Yeah.
And they'll always be like your ALDs, your Bodies, your Wales Bonners, your Nicholas Dailies, your all these dudes that are coming up now. You can see the bigger brands are taking a lot of their story and making it their bigger brand stories.
Yeah.
So for me, I always say, don't worry about the big brands. They big business. They have to do this. Watch the little dudes. Keep out on the little dudes. If you want to learn from the dude that knows that if this isn't going to work, he's out of a job tomorrow with no brand.
100%.
He's spent his whole life learning this trade to make it work, or he or she learned the trade to make it work. So stick to that. Don't worry about the team of 50 or 60 people to design one pair of shoes that Virgil's going to put his name on to go sell for $4,000. Rather go buy a penny loafer from ALD who flew to Portugal and made a penny loafer. Rather learn because he went there to learn. That's my theory. It's like, so everyone coming up in the game, watch the little dudes, learn who's leading culture, because it's not the big brands, it's the little dudes that lead culture.
I guess you're also not a fan of Lucien Clark's shoe with Louis Vuitton, the skate shoe.
No, it's just terrible. It's not, but it shouldn't be. It shouldn't. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound like a turd. It shouldn't.
That were terrible.
It shouldn't be. Why is that? It doesn't have to be. Am I right? I don't know if I'm wrong.
Look, I mean, different strokes for different folks, but like I said before, when it comes to the high fashion stuff, it's not my language. I don't speak it. I don't really learn it as such. You know what I mean? Like,
But-
look, I really want the fur loafers or whatever.
Oh, they are
I love those.
Those are beautiful. But that's their handwriting, you know.
That's about it. And the socks, the glittery socks. But that's about it.
But
You
can
know
I
what
ask,
mean?
like, if you were a skater, let's just be honest. If you were a skater you're coming up not in the most affluent aspects of your life. You skate because it's your way of life. You needed some form of joy. Skating was an affordable joy for people who can't afford much. All right? I mean, that's how it started. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can buy DCs or I can buy Etnies or all these Osiris's or all these bands back in the day that were pricey because they were independent brands trying to feed a culture. And that's why Nike flopped in the beginning. Let's be honest, they were trying to just commercialize a culture, but fine.
Yeah.
In skate.
They did.
But then,
they won
in the beginning.
Yeah,
though.
the very
They
beginning.
won.
But then LV comes and is like, oh, we're going to make a pro skater and sell it for $3,000. It's like, well, dude, there is no board that's $3,000. What skater besides a sponsored skater is going to buy a $3,000 skate shoe? The only people that are going to buy it are the hype kids who are on TikTok, right? Am I going?
Put it up on the reels.
But anyway, look, I know I'm sounding preachy and stuff. I'm sounding super preachy. I love fashion. I love clothes and I love stuff. I love learning. And that's why I say a guy like Jerry Lorenzo, I respect tremendously for his business model.
Yeah.
And a guy like Kanye, I respect his business model and he's thinking and just like not really trying to like be with everybody. Like you don't have to be with everybody. And I think that's also a big lesson that I've learned and tried to. And it's back to the Streaks day. Don't be everything for everybody. Yeah. Because you're just gonna end up losing your story.
Very true. Just on everything in life. You can't be everything for everybody.
You don't want to be everything for everybody.
Definitely don't. And with that being said, you know, I mean, the good folks at KIWI have this beautiful slogan. I mean, you know, wear your pride. And I wanted to know, how do you feel like you wear your pride, Dale?
Sure. It's a deep question. I'm still fuming about Virgil, but anyway. No, I'm joking. I love Virgil. No. I think it is, as I said, when you dress good in stuff that you know you've invested and you've aspired to get, you wear it with pride. My pride is looking my best I can look in every way I do. So I will never not wear anything I don't make because it's not pride. Or whatever I design, I make with pride. And I'm not there to make you buy something if I wouldn't buy it myself. So how I wear pride is like, when I wear my own stuff, it's not that I'm trying to be a walking billboard or anything. It's because it's generally that I'm proud of the stuff I've done and I'm going to wear it with pride. And that's no matter where I am in the spectrum of what other brand I was with or where or etc. I always do something that I'm going to be proud of and wear it. And if I'm not wearing it, I'm not proud of it. So that's for me. That's how I wear it with pride. Yeah.
Oh.
And to tell the story, man. Just keep telling your story.
Beautiful.
I think as the preachy part, let's preach. As for young creatives, I see it a lot. As I said with the open social, just tell your story. Don't worry about trying to impress other people. Just tell your story because people are going to buy into your story. That's the only way you're going to succeed is when it's your story. And you see it with all these creative directors. There's like a 3-year cycle for them. You see them going here to here to here because people want to be part of that story. And at the end of the day, if you're not going to tell you their story, they're going to buy that story. You're not going to go anywhere. You're going to be stuck in that story forever. So keep telling your story and make sure it's an honest, good story.
I want to tell my story.
That's dope, man.
Man, yeah, we could go on and on and on and on.
On and on. But I haven't asked about you guys. I was supposed to turn the tables around. When's the new music coming?
Wow.
Good question.
Hey? Telling a story, telling a good story, you know.
Thank you for listening, man.
Being true to yourself in the street. Because I'll be honest. I'm not so clued up in the local music industry. So I stopped listening to music a while back when I retired music. As I said earlier, I listen to old stuff now, a lot of old stuff. But I think you owe it to the industry to deliver stuff. Because from what I know, which is not much, I'll preface that, you guys are the top of the game for me.
Oh, wow.
So keep delivering, man.
Damn.
Just deliver.
Damn.
It doesn't have to be commercialized. It just has to be done. That's it.
It has to be
Sometimes
there.
it's just for the sake of doing what people want you to do.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We with you.
We appreciate that. We appreciate that.
Preach.
You know your worth.
Know your worth.
Do your worth.
Do your worth.
Beautiful. Thank you for coming
Thank
through.
you very much.
This is super dope, super informative. And I think a lot of creatives in the style and fashion industry can definitely take a lot from this one, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely need to hear this one, man.
Bless you guys. Thanks, man.
Bless.
Yeah, man.
Dale!
Yeah. Shout out to my moms.